morning.
And
welcome
to... oh, hang on, I'm having trouble reading that. Love, you get the car keys.
Welcome to
Have I got 2020 for you? I'm Adil Ray.
I'm Damien Lewis.
I'm Ramesh Ranganathan.
I'm Jennifer Saunders.
I'm Staying Alert.
In the news this year, in Berkshire, there are signs that this year the Windsor Castle chefs may have started on the Brussels sprout recipes a bit early.
In Washington, Joe Biden heads to the streets with a clear message for the election protesters, but soon regrets not taking anyone with him.
And in Camden, CCTV footage reveals the culprit after faecal matter is left on Keir Starmer's desk.
Oh, there they are.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, audience. You should be aware that we can see you and what you're doing, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Third box up from the right. I'm telling your mother. I hope that isn't your mother.
The start of the Great North Run, and there's the eye test. Mr. Cummings, can you see why everyone's so angry with you and think you should resign, you complete and utter fraud? And I think the answer is no. I think he failed the test.
Is that what it says on the eye chart that he was looking at, that man? I am a complete and utter fraud.
I mean, the eye test thing is marvellous. The idea that you're not sure whether you can drive back to London. So in order to test your eyesight, you put your 4-year-old in the back of the car and drive around to see if you knock over any pedestrians or maybe smack into a bollard. And that way, you'll know your eyes aren't there. This man has become the centre of the story. And I cannot understand why he hasn't resigned. That's Boris. I mean, we are an international laughing stock.
So why are some people angry that he made the 260-mile journey?
I know, ask Ian, he'll tell you.
Ian?
I haven't a clue. I mean, why are people so angry? I can't see it myself.
If you can't see it, Ian, get in your car, drive to Canterbury Cathedral, that'll clear it.
You feel like an idiot. I mean, I'm quite cross. I obeyed various regulations about care homes and funerals and things, and I just feel bloody irritated. I should have led, all the old people in a conga around the town and had a barbecue and got pissed. It's it just makes everyone very cross.
Ian, if you're ever tempted to have a barbecue, get pissed and do the conga, do let me know, please. I'll bring my own sausages.
Cummings has been inundated with job offers. What's he been asked to do?
Specsavers advert?
You're quite close.
Turn on some Christmas lights somewhere.
Where?
Barnard Castle.
Yes, you've been invited to switch on the Barnard Castle Christmas lights. This is the departure of Dominic Cummings from Number 10, probably the most hated man in the news last week. And let's not forget this was week when Peter Sutcliffe died. Amid claims of a macho culture at Number 10, The Sun reported female advisors are accused of leaking more than men. Well, that can happen once you've had kids.
There's Donald Trump chucking out masks. This is Joe Biden.
Which one's the pumpkin?
The thing about Trump's taxes should have come up. I mean, the President of the United States has paid no tax.
He's paid more to a former porn actress than he has paid into the American tax system.
This would embarrass the average banana republic.
But it would embarrass the average banana. Didn't need the word republic on the end of that sentence.
It's quite unbelievable. There's now at least 34 people at the White House who've tested positive. Many of the people who tested positive attended a gathering at the White House Rose Garden for the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. Here's Republican Senator Mike Lee, no, not that one, at the event, who subsequently tested positive.
We must point out that we didn't add that comedy music.
I'm not very good with makeup, but even I know how to do a wee bit of blending. It's like he's just opened the makeup bag and did like that. Chicken nuggets are stuck to him.
Yeah, that actually does look like a chicken nugget.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I haven't been able to unsee? Someone said he stands like he's the front half of a centaur. Yeah.
He's also been trying not to wear a mask on a visit to a Ford factory in Michigan. Did you see this? He responded to the criticism by tweeting, "I wore one in the back area. Now, I'm no expert, Donald."
But I'm a bit worried about that. Wouldn't that make his voice muffled?
Melania Trump grew up in the Balkans, and you think, my God, the horrors that woman has seen. I bet she closes her eyes at night and thinks back to her time in the Balkans just to take her mind off it.
This is the news that the old white guy won. Yep, that does cover us either way. Joe Biden is crystal clear on what his priorities would be as president. Get America out of Vietnam. Make peace with the Confederacy and beat the Soviet Union to the moon. Have got to be.
Picnicking, when you can be with other people.
That's someone being arrested for taking his exercise.
Which member of the government's frontline team has been declared an icon of the current crisis by the chief curator of the National Portrait Gallery?
Oh, is it Whitty?
It's Whitty, Chief Medical Officer Professor Chris Whitty. A variety of artists have been inspired by the pasty-faced Panjandrum and his slightly psychotic eyes.
Bit harsh.
Yeah, come on. Here's a rather nice sculpture by Cornish artist Penny Lally. And then this rather alarming face by artist Wilfred Wood.
Oh!
Yeah, it's rather evocative of 10 Rillington Place, that last one.
Oh, that's very good.
Oh, wow.
Yes, now that is good. And just a touch flattering.
Why has Sculptor just done a head of Ian? Why hasn't she picked other people in the public eye?
Do you want a sculpture of your own head, Paul?
Yes. Well, I mean, the phrase is be careful what you beg for.
Luckily for you, Paul, it's not the only one.
You see, that's brilliant.
I wish I hadn't complained about the first one now.
I think that's very flattering.
Well, my hair's not quite that dark and I haven't got a bum on my face, but other than that, it's perfect.
My cat's just walked in.
What's the name of your cat, Ian? William Pitt the Younger or something like that?
Reese Moggy.
What is your cat called, Ian?
He's called Colin.
I think Ian's about to do an incredible impression of a Bond villain, if this goes the way I hope. Oh, there's Colin.
Can I just say, he really isn't meant to be in here. Are you, Colin? You are meant to be over there.
Don't kiss your cat. That's the advice, because I'm sorry to break this to you, Ian. Don't kiss your cat. That's the advice from a scientific study in Australia, which is trying to establish whether cat-to-human transmission of the virus is possible.
So if you can't kiss your cat, what's Ian going to do on a Friday night?
Well, he's got to use common sense hygiene until we know more about the virus. When you get the all clear, you can get off with it as much as you like.
Shouldn't they just say, don't kiss the cat for scientific reasons, but you're not supposed to kiss your cat?
No, you're meant to allow the cat to make the first move.
Consent is important, even in the animal kingdom.
Yes, it's etiquette.
Yeah, etiquette. Mark's got exactly the right answer. It's etiquette. The cat kisses you, all bets are off. But before that, no kissing.
We're keeping 6 foot apart in this house, I tell you.
How has one man been helping his gerbils cope with lockdown?
Has he been tying him to bungee ropes and chucking him out the window?
He's actually built them an art gallery. Here it is.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a Vermeer and a Klimt and a Munch.
That's Munch's The Squeak.
Have you seen how Joan and Jimmy O'Shaughnessy from Southport and Merseyside have been keeping themselves fit in lockdown? Let's have a look.
Everywhere's a dance floor around at the O'Shaughnessy's, and the recording process can test the patience of the other members of the family.
It's very frustrating. It's just constant for a 4-hour period. But, you know, they're making people smile, so at the end of the day, you've got to leave them to it.
Also, why have they painted the words ITV News on their French doors?
What might you need to get into a pub these days?
A substantial meal.
That's right, a Scotch egg, in fact.
Gove said one thing in one interview and something else in another. Can you believe it?
Let's just have a look at this. We've got it chronologically here.
Is that a substantial meal?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably a starter.
Is it a substantial meal?
A Scotch egg is a substantial meal.
Matt Hancock's position was a Scotch egg that is served as a substantial meal, that is a substantial meal. Which is like one of the Sphinx's riddles. Basically, if a Scotch egg self-identifies as a substantial meal, it's very progressive of him, actually.
Yeah, what have they launched in Japan this week to make COVID more fun?
Oh, is it a mutation of the virus?
No, Maskland.
Maskland?
Yes.
Maskland.
According to one attendee, I expected more visitors, but it's not so crowded, so it's good.
I like how the British government think that the virus will take time off like we will, like, for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because, the virus wants to spend time with his family, too.
Yeah, couldn't we have Christmas just delayed? Couldn't we have it at Easter?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it might confuse some of the religious messaging going on. Might give the impression that Jesus was crucified at the age of 3 days old, but other than that...
The new Christmas rules come following guidance from the SAGE committee, but until we also hear from the Onion committee, I'm not leaving the house.
There he is, banging the drum still. This is Labour have ended up found guilty of anti-Semitism, and Keir Starmer has decided now's the time to stop this surge of Corbynism. Sorry, of anti-Semitism.
What was Keir Starmer's embarrassing news this week?
He had a crash with a cyclist.
He thought it was Jeremy Corbyn, didn't he? Getting in early.
Yeah, this week the Labour leader was driving his car when he was involved in a collision with a Deliveroo driver. One busybody, I should have said eyewitness, told the Daily Mail that it looked like Starmer might not have seen the cyclist.
It's not particularly a story that damns him, that apparently he didn't see the cyclist.
No.
If he had seen the cyclist, I think it'd be more of a story.
What happened to Rishi Sunak?
He got a new job as a Deliveroo cyclist. How's it going?
So the Labour Party put out this kind of attack ad on him in which they said he's got a really big house and he's got loads of money and he's done incredibly well and isn't he a bad person? And I was watching it thinking every Asian parent up and down this country is watching that and saying, you better be like Rishi Sunak when you grow up. I don't know why they think this is an attack ad. It's like careers advice for every Asian kid. I just remember thinking this is a really great...
What does Danny Dyer think the problem is?
He thinks that there aren't enough working-class people running the country and the Etonians need to get their hands off power.
Yeah, let's have a look.
My one rant would be that we must learn now that the people who went to Eton can't run this country, OK? They've done it, they've tried to do it, and this little small group who all went to the same school in the same class, it doesn't work.
On the flip side, should there be more parts for posh people in EastEnders?
Yeah.
I'm happy to audition.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a straight offer, I just want to be in the room.
Go on, let's have your audition. We're looking for a new pub landlord.
Hi, guys, come in. Let me tell you about the philosophy of this place. Have you been here before? No. The specials are on the board. Do you have any allergies? All our stuff comes in baskets because we're arseholes.
I want to come.
Hey,
You have to be able to say, get out of my pub, though. How would you say that?
Ronald, could you tell the scary people to get out of the pub?
The delivery cyclist was taken to hospital where it was discovered he'd broken 2 ribs, 3 pork chops and a lasagna. Thinking he might have killed the cyclist, Keir Starmer's whole career flashed before his eyes in the most boring 3 seconds in political history.
The Crown, obviously, is back, and there's uproar because it is not accurate.
I'll give you a sneak preview. She goes in to see the Queen, Mrs. Thatcher, and the Queen goes, hello, would you like to sit there? And she goes, yes, I would.
What? This is
That's it for hours.
How many years have you been able to do that?
Do you know what Prince Charles said?
Yeah, that was it.
Prince Charles thought it was trolling the family on a Hollywood budget.
Hey, I tell you who's had a good year.
Prince Andrew. I reckon he's the only person for whom 2020 has gone to plan.
Yeah.
Because we've all forgotten that he said he wasn't a pedo because he's been to Pizza Express.
When they get to the Prince Andrew story, the Crown's rather dubious grasp of historical facts will probably claim that he's a pizza who was at Pedo Express.
This is the Netflix series that's been accused of showing the royal family in a bad light. Let's be honest, it's just a glossy soap opera full of cartoonish characters that we shouldn't take seriously. But it is good source material for The Crown. And as former butler, Paul Burrell defended the series on Good Morning Britain, saying, you can't just take one thing from The Crown. Well, you didn't, did you, Paul? Loaded up half of Anne's worth.
Priti Patel. She was being investigated for bullying.
Bullying, whether intentional or not.
Or not.
Surprising, isn't it? Because she seems so nice.
What are the Home Office's plans to deal with illegal immigration and asylum seekers?
Stick him in a volcano.
It's not far off. Ascension Island was an idea, I think it was mooted for a few minutes.
It's incredibly difficult to get to and very expensive. So the idea that you'd pick up all the immigrants off the Kent coast and then ship them to Ascension Island.
Maybe they were just going to do what they've done with the airports and rename it London Ascension Island. Got a Ryanair flight there.
Astronomy. Now, according to the Daily Star, what is the thickest being in the galaxy?
Someone at NASA said that it's possible that over the next couple of years we might find life on other planets. And then someone said, but it won't be particularly intelligent. And so that's how long it took for the Daily Star to manage to come up with interplanetary racism and go, yeah, it's all right then. Aliens are out coming from other galaxies, but they're thick. They know nothing.
They managed to also get a bit of toilet humour in there, as they unhelpfully explained with their front page. Aliens are dumber than Uranus. Astronomer Dr. Sheila Kanani thinks any aliens out there are likely to be dumb little microbes without intelligence. We all know how harmless those can turn out to be.
Exactly.
This is a story about people changing their accents. Depending on what company they keep. Some scientists have worked out that people do this, whereas we all know everyone does this.
Seems like an absurd idea. You really think there's anything in this?
Yes, of course there is, Gov.
What the hell was that? That was the worst since Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins.
Thank God for that.
Absolutely right. Here's the Times' utterly unhelpful explanation. It means that those prone to dropping their T's may aim for something more like BBC English in mixed company, whereas the blue-blooded may tone it down around hoi polloi.
You know, amongst cabbies and workmen.
BBC.
Cup of tea.
What is BBC English? Is it like, hello, welcome to the BBC?
That's it, yes, exactly. Received English, RP.
Yes.
You know, Queen's English.
Yeah, is she?
Yeah.
I don't know as well as you do, but I expect you've picked her up in your cab many a time. God blimey, God blimey, Uranus, back to the palace, is he?
Anyway, she's German.
In other news, what have young people been blamed for this week?
Oh, if you were trying to say answer the phone or something, what mine would you do for phone? Yeah, young people do this because the phone is completely different. They don't know what this is.
Yeah.
'Cause no one has a landline, so you just look mad.
Oh, to be fair though, Ian's mine for a phone would be.
Which other hand signals are reportedly on their way out?
Oh, yes. Would you like to release a pigeon?
Apparently...
Well, because no one has any cash anymore.
Yeah. In other money-related news, a lottery winner in Jamaica didn't want his friends or family to find out he'd won $95 million, so he picked up the cheque dressed like this.
But it's got his name on it.
So, yeah, he came dressed as Darth Vader, but now he's got a lot of people claiming he's their father.
Time now for the odd one out round. Emily Maitlis, Alan and Elaine from Wales, Matt Hancock and the Duke of Gloucester.
Out of that four, Elaine's the only one who's got any teeth. Elaine and who? Did you say who is that?
Alan.
They broke the internet with their old telly.
Oh, yes.
Did they? Yes. It was giving off such levels of radiation or electrical interference that it broke the internet for the whole village.
What is the scientific explanation for this?
I'm an actor, Paul.
You've kept that quiet.
Emily Maitlis accidentally called Hull hell. Satan was furious. Matt Hancock got Marcus Rashford's name wrong.
And it was their fault, but the pensioners, it wasn't their fault, it was the fault of their telly, so they're the odd one out.
So close. They've all embarrassed themselves on TV, apart from a couple in Wales who embarrassed themselves with a TV. Alan and Elaine Rees recently discovered that every time they turned on their TV in the morning to watch Piers Morgan, it would knock out the broadband for the entire village.
Where can you get a TV like that?
How quickly did they cotton on to what was happening?
It's like a year, wasn't it?
It took 18 months. And ABC presenter Emily Maitlis, whilst introducing former Health Secretary Alan Johnson on Newsnight, she had an unfortunate slip of the tongue.
Labour's former Health Secretary Alan Johnson joins us down the line from hell.
Can we get to then the Duke of Gloucester? After the government's recent handling of students, a clip from a documentary went viral. Let's have a look why.
You know, there are some things that you're interested in and some that you're not, and it's slightly difficult to feign an interest.
And is this an insulated roof or is it scrum when it rains?
For anyone wondering about the answer to the question, it was, yes, sir, the roof is insulated. Not as much as you are from real life. And then Matt Hancock managed to publicly embarrass himself. How?
I just don't know how long you've got.
Yeah.
It's been a very, very long year.
Shall we have a look?
Matt Hancock, Health Secretary, thank you for your time with us this morning.
It's very good to have me on. Thank you very much.
Talking about the vaccine rollout on Good Morning Britain, Matt Hancock broke down in tears.
I feel like
Well, what do you think?
a kind of sort of side hustle that Pfizer had was to create some sort of saline solution that could look like real tears to make it look like Matt Hancock was really crying. Because it almost looked real, didn't it? So yeah, everyone was like, yeah, almost looks like a human being.
Matt Hancock went on to say that despite us having a vaccine, let's not blow it now. Well said, Matt. It would be awful if we somehow blew it and ended up with one of the worst mortality rates in the world and a test and trace system run off Excel.
Time now for the missing words round. We start with Cherie Blair reveals that Tony refuses to what around the house?
Social distance.
Skip.
It's help.
Do the cleaning. Tony Blair never gets involved in washing up or drying the dishes, mainly because whenever he tries to deal with a rack, it ends in disaster.
That's true, that.
Next, woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after what?
After the dog tongued her in the actual pictures. I've got a sausage dog and it often tries to lick my mouth. It's creepy.
Really?
It's better than having a mouth dog that licks your sausage.
True!
I had one of those, I had to give it back to Battersea.
Woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after it thinks the ring is a treat and eats it. Here is the jaw-dropping footage.
Stay. Stay. Oh, yes!
When she sees that again, she won't want to put it on her finger.
Next, what from the 19th century having a resurgence in popularity?
Chastity belts.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Is it diseases?
Celebrity chefs from the 19th century are having a resurgence in popularity. There's been a resurgence in 19th century baking, thanks to the recipes of Elizabeth Duane and Avis Crocombe. I believe they trained with Mary Berry.
Next, religious pool player calls his trick shot the gospel, as it always ends with what?
A miracle.
Revelation.
With them saying, God damn.
It always ends with him handing out free pamphlets about Jesus.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the trick shot.
No, but it's sort of vaguely got a religious flavour.
You could call the trick the donut, because he then eats a donut after he's done the trick shot.
What's religious about a donut?
It's holy.
Oh!
Next up, Exeter man surprised to find what in his allotment?
The Jeremy Corbyn.
Is it Kim Jong-un?
It is, in fact, Exeter man surprised to find silver Nissan Micra in his allotment. This week in Devon, a man arrived at his allotment to find this.
Oh, wow.
According to Devon Live Online, sadly, some vegetables were lost. Emergency services were quickly on the scene, but they couldn't find a pulse.
Next, what unexpectedly found in a cathedral in Spain this week?
Eamon Holmes, the Dark Prince.
Is there a comma there, or is it just
No, it's Eamon Holmes, the Dark Prince.
The Dark Prince.
Yeah.
12 horses. Final answer.
Cheeky portrait of a stonemason. This week, historians at a cathedral in Galicia discovered that a stonemason who helped build the church has secretly carved an etching of himself into the wall, which has only been discovered 900 years later. Here he is. Yeah. When it comes to uncovering historical secrets in the church, this is definitely one of the nicer ones.
Why has a statue in the Spanish town of Palencia caused upset this week?
Is it one of those statues that gets renovated badly?
Well, you can be the judge of that. It's supposed to be a smiling woman. It's on a sort of ornate 20th century building. Here it is before the restoration.
Yes.
And here it is now.
Oh.
They're calling it the potato face of Palencia. Let's see the particular Mr. Potato Head they think it looks like.
Yes, it is.
The Spaniards say that is a disaster that should be removed immediately, but they'll have to wait for Inauguration Day like the rest of us.
But before we go, it's just time for the caption competition.
Can you find the bastard who superglued my finger to this chart?
Next.
Can you find the bastard who superglued my finger?
Government announced new track and trace system. Government announced new track and trace system.
Very good.
And I leave you with news that trials of AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccine are halted after the discovery of minor side effects.
In troubled times, Donald Trump seeks a comforting embrace from the person he loves the most.
And in Windsor, one newly married couple are relieved to see the photographer has done a good job of photoshopping out embarrassing family members from their wedding snaps.
Happy Christmas.